So you may have just picked up your Nothing Phone 2A, and you might be trying to figure out exactly how you can use this particular phone. Now I can definitely tell you, you made a pretty good choice with this particular device. It has a lot of cool features, and we'll talk about that throughout this whole entire video. So sit back and relax, and hopefully by the end of it, you are able to go and become a pro of your particular Nothing Phone 2A. Now on the outside of this particular phone, you're getting a fairly large, big display. It's a fairly nice looking display too with, it's a decent display. You're getting a whole bunch of display right here too with that front camera. And overall, it looks pretty nice. Looking around the rest of the body though, on the left side, you're basically getting your volume buttons. So on this particular model I have here, it's like a white on black. And you can definitely see that this particular model has these volume buttons right here. Very easy to kind of click into place. At the top, nothing crazy, you're just getting your standard microphone hole at the very top. On the bottom, you're getting your USB Type-C port with a SIM card tray. I'll show you how to eject that in a second. A speaker grill at the bottom right. On the other side, you're getting your power button. So pretty minimalistic phone right here. You're getting volume buttons and a power button. On the back side, this is where this phone becomes non-minimalistic. You can see you have this, they call it their glyph interface. So it's basically a little, area that will show you like lights and stuff throughout the back of it. We can set this up in the settings, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. You have the Nothing logo right here, and you have this dual camera setup at the very top as well, which is a very nice touch. I'm glad these types of cheaper phones are giving us dual cameras, and it's a very, very decent dual camera. I mean, it's a good enough camera for the most part for how cheap this phone is. So on the exterior, that kind of covers it up there. Now, before you use your phone, I would recommend actually taking out that SIM card. So if you want to grab that SIM card eject tool that should be in the box. If not, if you lost it, you can always grab a needle of some sort and just kind of put it in there. So right here, there's a little tiny hole. All you want to do is you want to take out the SIM card by putting in this particular SIM card reader thing right here, literally clicking into place at the bottom of your particular phone right here, and you should be able to see it actually come out. So what you're going to want to do here is you just want to go ahead and basically just grab this with your fingernail and kind of gently pry it out. So just like this, you can kind of squeeze it out just like so, and you should be able to see the SIM card tray right here. All you're going to want to do here is go and just grab the SIM card tray as you normally would, and you can literally just place it back after inputting your SIM card. So put in your SIM card as you normally would, and you can either put in one SIM card or two SIM cards. There's actually a slot for two SIM cards right here. And whenever you're ready, you can go and just grab this as you normally would. You can place this back in just like as you did before. So place this in just like so, and you should be able to go ahead and have your SIM card tray being read, and that's really it. That's how you insert your SIM card tray in your Nothing Phone 2A. Now zooming out, when you actually boot up your phone for the first time, it's going to ask you to set up your device. I'd recommend going through and setting it up. That's basically the big thing. It's just going to ask you for a lot of personal information, your Google account and all that stuff. I've saved you the trouble of waiting for me to do it, so I've already done that. Within this particular lock screen though, this is a stock phone. I haven't really done anything besides download a few applications. And you can see right here, this lock screen is pretty basic. You have your standard time and date at the very top. So it's going to be very standard with a lot of Android phones. You're going to have the date time, maybe the weather right here too. At the very, very top, you should be able to see hopefully maybe your SIM card, your service provider should be at the very top maybe. And then at the top right, you should be able to see your Wi-Fi and maybe a Bluetooth icon or maybe like a battery icon depending on how you set up your particular phone. At the very center, you'll have these notifications. Now, if you get a text message, if you get a phone call and you miss it or a Snapchat or whatever, all those types of things will show up and pop up right here. So that is kind of a nice thing that you can kind of have. So you can basically just go through, have that type of information right here, which again is genuinely very, very nice. And you can kind of, modify that whichever way you want to. Towards the bottom, you'll see your little lock screen icon, little home icon too, but that kind of covers it up here. And whenever you're ready, you can basically swipe up at the lock screen, and then you'll basically come into this particular page. Now this is essentially your home screen. Now your home screen will have a bunch of different information within it. You'll have widgets and app icons and so many things across the board. So what you can do now is that you can see all this type of information. You'll have your little search bar at the very bottom, and then you can basically kind of modify this whichever way you want to. So if you have different pages set up, if you have a different app, you can go and kind of move the pages around too. If you don't like a widget, you can always hold down on a widget right here, and you can modify it whichever way you want to. Like if you want to delete this widget, you can click here, and you can allow or don't allow, but you can kind of do whatever you want to with it. You can do all sorts of things. You can move an application around by holding it down and dragging it around. You can do a lot of different things. Now you can notice that whenever I swipe between pages, you can see that the dock stays the same. If you want to, you can change this by holding down on an application and moving that app out of the dock and moving another one into the dock. So you can do that whichever way you want to. If you swipe to the left, you'll basically see this particular page, which is just going to be like your Google homepage. It's just going to have like a bunch of different like information, different things like that. So you can go through and just kind of read this whichever way you want to, which again is a pretty nice thing to kind of figure out. If you want to see all the applications that you have inside of your phone though, you can swipe up from the very bottom. So you just swipe up like this, and you should be able to see all the apps that you currently have inside of your phone. So this is pretty cool because this is just all the apps that you have that are downloaded that you can actually open. There's still a lot of system apps that you can't really get access here. But if you like to want to, open up a certain game or you want to do whatever, you can just go and open it up just like this, and you should be able to see all the apps that you have. Now, there's another big part of these particular phones, which is the gestures. So let's say you make your way over to an application, right? Well, how do you come back home? Like, how do you get out of this app? There's a few ways. One, with that gesture bar at the bottom, you can literally just swipe up from the bottom and basically come back home. Whenever you go inside of an application and you want to go back home, you can just swipe up, grab this gesture bar at the bottom, and you can basically take it back home, and that's really all you're going to have to do. It really is that basic. It's a really cool thing. Now, there's another gesture, which is the back gesture. So let's say you're inside of an application and you want to go back. If there's a back arrow, you can always tap that back button and then just go back. But if there isn't a back arrow, you can use that back gesture. You can basically swipe to the side just like this. So instead of swiping up, you swipe to the side on the side of this phone. A little arrow is going to come up, as you can probably see. It's very slight, but if you see that arrow, that means you're going to go back into that previous panel. And that's another cool thing that's built in inside of Android. So that's another cool thing you can kind of take a look at as well. If you want to get into your recents, you can swipe up and kind of drag it to the right, and you should be able to see all the recent panels and recent devices that you have inside of your phone. You can swipe all the way to the end to clear out all your applications, and that's another thing you can do. Now, these built-in apps are pretty basic on all these phones. You have a photo app, a camera application where you can take photos and videos. You have your phone application here. You have your Google Play Store, which allows you to download applications. Another big app though is our settings. Settings will have a bunch of different things inside of your particular application, and you can modify a lot of things from your phone inside of this app. So under Wi-Fi network, you can change your Bluetooth settings and so many things. You can go ahead and interface and change your glyph interface, which will allow you to go and kind of modify these particular lights in the background. So this is actually pretty cool because what it allows you to do is it allows you to have these glyph lights. So whenever you get notifications or anything like that, you can go ahead and see those lights in the background, which is actually very cool. And you can enable this or disable it depending on which way you want to kind of modify it. And I do think it's actually very cool. Now you can also turn on flip to glyph if you wanted to go ahead and just like have that glyph interface as the phone's turning on, as it's flipped over. And there's lots of different things you can kind of modify here too, which is actually very cool. Swiping back out, you can modify your battery options here and check out more battery settings there. You can turn on or off your adaptive brightness, which I turn off personally under display. You can also turn on or off your dark theme. If you want to turn off or on your dark theme, you can go and turn that on too, which is really cool. And there's a lot of other settings, like I mentioned before, all over the place. A big thing though I'd recommend doing for every single Nothing phone owner, or any phone owner for the most part, is going through and getting used to actually updating your particular Android phone. So go back into your settings application, click on system, and you should be able to see a little system update panel that comes up right here. What you're going to want to do here is tap onto system update, and then this type of panel is going to come up. Now what you're going to want to do here is you want to go and update your phone whenever you can. This is another big thing. You don't have to update it like every single day, but whenever you get the chance to, I would recommend going through and updating your device, because that's another very, very big important thing that I'd recommend the average person to go ahead and do as well. So overall, those are kind of the basic ways of going through and using your Nothing phone. It's a pretty basic phone. There's not really super like crazy features within this one, to be honest. It's a pretty basic device. But I will definitely tell you, a big thing I would always recommend doing is putting a screen protector and a case on your particular phone. So I'd recommend going through doing that as soon as you can as well. But overall, that's basically how you can use your Nothing phone 2A. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.